Yes, but what would that scent be? Is it we talking like a ode to sewer,
little sewer, little pizza,
maybe a little sweat, locker room sweat, or I don't know, turtle wax.
Turtle wax. That's where it's at. Huh? Did you? What was that?
You see
I swear I heard something back there. You're watching IGN at Comic-Con. I'm Brian Altano here with Kevin Eastman, co-creator of the Ninja Turtles, to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the original film coming back to theaters. First of all, I can't believe it's been 35 years.
Ditto. Let me adjust my Depends. Hold on. No, I can't believe it's been 35 years, and man, it just, to me, that's the perfect turtle film. If you know,
it really is. It's actually one of the best comic book adaptations ever made. I would say one of the best comic book films ever. Which begs the question: did you ever think it was going to be a disaster? Because at the time, not exactly the best track record for comics and toys and stuff, and games becoming movies.
Yeah. No, what was fantastic about the experience of going through the first Turtle film was Peter and I spent a bunch of time on set watching the amazing Steve Barron, who directed it. Todd Langdon was on set, was the guy that wrote it. Meeting, Ernie Reyes Jr. wearing the turtle costumes and watching these stunt people do what they do. But when you're on a movie set, the first thing I thought was, how does any movie come out good ever?
Right.
There's so many moving parts to make just to get 30 seconds of film. But we had faith in Steve, and of course, Jim Henson's Creature Shop, made the costumes that just really brought our characters to life the way we could have only dreamed about, and they made it happen.
I remember being a big fan of all things Jim Henson back then, and then finding out that he was working on that film, and animatronic turtle heads and full-bodied costumes blew my mind. What was it like seeing those costumes for the first time, seeing your creations talking and moving their mouths?
It was, again, it was like, stop you dead in your tracks, jaw hits the floor. So we worked with a Creature Shop, where they would send like video tests, so they built everything in the UK. And so we could see some of the tests and mechanics, but until the first time on set, and Peter and I were walking it was a night shoot, walking through the back lot, and we come around this corner, and the streets are wet, and it's all lit up, and there's turtles in full costume, like one's wearing a sombrero, and we just went like, oh my God! It was just goosebump city, head to toe. It was fantastic.
I can't even imagine. Was that your favorite moment, sort of working on the film, outside of like seeing this film itself, was seeing those turtles come to life?
It was, just seeing, again, how many moving parts, like the amazing Judith Hogue as the original April, and Elias Koteas. I couldn't have imagined this. Like after seeing Elias as Casey Jones, I wrote everything about Casey Jones and every comic since then, thinking of Elias Koteas as that character. So just these people that brought our characters to life was just absolutely, just practically humbling. It was so awesome.
It's got such a great lighthearted script, but it also has such incredibly dark undertones, and the cinematography itself just creates this really moody thing. Was that a balance that you were kind of hoping they would nail?
100%, and that was, thank goodness for Steve Barron. And when we first met him, we were already fans, of Dire Straits' Money for Nothing, Billie Jean, his music video work was just incredible, as well as the work he did with the Henson Company. But he brought in the idea, he said, I love the original black and white comic books. We want to bring the tonality and the edginess and the heart of that with the comedy of the animated series, and it was just a perfect storm. They really put it together.
Now, you brought in Toka and Razor as like new mutants in the sequel.
Right.
Was there ever talk about attempting that for the first one, or were you kind of just like, I think we're full up with the Shredder and Tatsu and everybody? Yeah,
that was, again, thinking that, like the first comic book, the first issue had a beginning, middle, end, because we never thought there'd be a second one.
Right.
So with the first movie, it was the same thing. Let's introduce the core, heart and soul. Here's the main bad guys. Here's the evil ninja Foot Clan. Here's the turtles. So we established that family and that, linking the heart of the whole story together. And then when we had a chance to do a second one, it was like, okay, now we can expand bigger into the universe.
Yeah, which was really cool. It was just, I mean, for me as a kid, I was just like, yes, more toys.
Yes.
The original costumes went viral a couple years ago because they're made of latex and rubber, and that historically doesn't last a long time. And so they kind of decomposed a bit with exposed teeth. Mm-hmm. What was your reaction seeing those?
Well, we were lucky enough. We fell in love with them immediately.
Oh, yeah.
On set, and it was just absolute magic. So we worked out a deal with a Creature Shop, so they each sent Peter and I a costume. He got Donatello and I got a Leonardo.
Oh my God.
But they literally start rotting almost the time they pull them out of the molds.
Yeah.
And they're made to fit the actor, and they're abused so much. But we like sprayed them with clear coat and try to preserve them anyway, but they're just gonna, we lose them over time.
I know. You need to drop them in just like a gigantic cube of like resin or something like that, and just freeze it in this place. Yeah. Was there anything else that you got to keep from the film set?
Yes, we actually I got to keep one of the TCRI canisters, the ooze canisters.
Awesome! Yeah,
so it's great. And Pete got Donatello staff and Raphael Sai, so that stayed in our personal collection. It's still there.
What is your personal favorite scene or moment in the original movie?
Oh, there's so many. It's like Michelangelo coming out of the sewer talking about putting stink bugs on his pizza, having pizza. Or I love being a turtle. Or my favorite all-time scene is Casey Jones and Raphael in the park. The Jose Canseco.
I love that.
Don't tell me you paid for this. But no, that interaction was great. And I've had a couple fans come up at different events we've done over the years, and they said, I learned my first swear word from the first Turtle movie. Damn! And it's like...
Parents loved you for that. It's that, and they go home and they just start beating up their brothers, and you're like, I swear this is not my fault.
But it is great. People, they'll come up and they go, Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds. There's just so many quotable...
I have to explain that to my kid now, where I'm like, well, they used to have like a 30-minute delivery thing, and if you didn't do it in time, the pizza was free, but then people got in accidents, so they retired it, but it's still frozen in time in the original film.
Absolutely.
We got Mutant Mayhem a couple years ago.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Absolutely loved it.
But it's been almost 10 years since we got a live-action Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
Is that something you'd ever like to see happen again someday?
I would, actually. I love, the beautiful part about Mutant Mayhem is, when you have a director like Jeff Rowe and such a big fan like Seth Rogen and Evan and everybody from Point Grey, is they really put this passion and love for comics and the turtle characters and brought it back to the humblest beginnings. They put the heart and soul, the humor, the darkness, the edge was all there, and I absolutely loved it. But would still love to experience and see a Turtles live action movie one day. And there's rumors about maybe a Last Ronin or something. But we'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah. So while I have you, anything you'd like to say about upcoming Last Ronin projects? I'm not trying to get you to get in trouble here, but if anything you'd like to talk about.
No, I've had such a great experience with we did a book called Last Ronin, which came out a couple years ago, and the fans, the original fans that grew up on the original comic books really came back. Some of them had not bought or read a Turtles comic book in years, and it would also resonated, and we found a whole bunch of new fans. And so it's just the chance to do and tell a great story that really clicked with the fans, because it was something we wrote for ourselves, then to do a part 2. Now we're working on part 3. So we'll have our New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi as our trilogy. So
Return of the Jedi is my favorite one, so that's good to hear. Kevin, thank you so much for creating something that has endured generations, that continues to entertain people. And if you haven't seen the original Ninja Turtles movie, go see it in theaters next month. And if you have, go get like a physical exam first with your doctor, because you're old, you've been around the block for a long time, but then go see it again.
It's still fresh from the sewer, as they say. It's like
fresh from the sewers.
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga.